Hey YouTube. So yeah, I did want to do a video explaining why this took so long. Because yeah, I posted that previous video in 2015, so it's been a total of 5 years since that last video. So I guess going back to 2015, when I first released that video, I was in my first year of studying game art at the time when I made that video. And that was an interesting year because earlier that year I was sort of confused of what direction to take my life. I always liked sort of making games and doing art and that sort of thing. Even throughout primary school, I was sort of using Game Maker and stuff, and I sort of knew I wanted to get into games, but for a reason, when I finished school, I was sort of confused where to go. So when I finished school, I saw all my friends sort of going to uni and sort of getting on with their life while I felt I was quite stagnant. I kind of took a gap year. I was just working casually at the time, and I didn't feel like I was being that productive. Towards the end of that year, I decided to sort of live a normal life and go to university and do architecture. I did that and really didn't like it at all. Um, so I dropped out of that. And then in 2015, I was kind of torn between doing another uni course, which I guess would have more job opportunities. I was going to do commerce or something, or just do game art. I ended up doing game art, and I enjoyed it a lot. And I guess towards the end of that year, we were sort of learning Unreal Engine. I thought, oh no, it would be pretty cool if I remake an area in Zelda and sort of see how that goes. I did that, and obviously recorded it, put it on YouTube, and people seemed to really like it a lot, which was a bit overwhelming for me. But it was awesome as well because it sort of really felt like I was on the right track. I reached a lot of people, which sort of signaled to me that I was doing the correct thing. So I just kind of want to provide a bit of context leading up to me posting that video, because I pretty much went from not knowing what I wanted to do to knowing what I wanted to do, and then getting recognized a lot for it, which is good, especially in that sort of area as well, like game art, because my parents they took a little convincing to sort of realize that there's opportunities in games, and it is a tough industry to break into, which is it's a reasonable amount of skepticism to have about me wanting to pursue this sort of career path. So it was good to have that sort of reach in a video and sort of prove to them that I could achieve something in this industry. So yeah, at this time, this is my first year doing game art, um, and I had a pretty basic understanding of 3D at this point. I did do a 3D course when I was in high school, and I did dabble in 3D programs a bit, so I wasn't completely fresh to it, but I still had a pretty basic understanding of 3D. And to get this sort of attention so early on, I think it was a bit premature. It may have given me a bit of an ego, perhaps, but I quickly realized that was wrong when I was trying to make more content. Because when that video got a lot of attention, I promised to make Kakeri Forest in Unreal Engine, um, but that was really challenging, and I quickly realized I had a lot to learn in 3D. I was pretty much promising to make things I wasn't skilled enough to make quite yet. I had a lot to learn, and I really learned always the hard way. There's just a lot of challenges with Kakeri Forest, particularly the houses, because the way I wanted to do those was to be large sculpts that I'll do in ZBrush, and I'd sort of bake them out and have, you know, and texture them in Substance Painter. Although they're quite large objects, and even a 4K texture wouldn't be enough to have that at a high enough resolution. So I would have a pretty good idea on how to do that now, but back then I was pretty stumped on how to do that. Even things like terrain and stuff, I still had a lot to learn in order to produce an area like that. I got kind of lucky with Kakariko Village because that was quite simple and I didn't have too many barriers. And I did kind of do things weirdly for that project, for that area anyway. And I would do things a lot differently. And look, like, even going back on that video, I could do a lot better with that. It looks pretty basic. I think I kind of just got in at the right time when there wasn't many Zelda remake videos on YouTube, and I guess people were starving for that sort of content. I guess judging by uh, the recent video I posted, I guess people maybe aren't so into it anymore. Maybe, or people just don't like the new area I made. I did take a few liberties with, I guess, my recent remake of Castletown and Temple of Time, much more saturated color palette, and maybe people don't like that so much. I think most people responded positively though. that have left comments. So I think most people like it, but I guess some people didn't like the change of style too much. Maybe they imagined Zelda to be a bit more darker. I'm not so sure, to be honest. But I guess during this period, I was constantly trying to do this project, but I kept failing, really. I was restarting constantly, and at the time, I was also studying as well. I was trying to obviously finish my school projects. Had a lot of group projects that required attention outside of school hours as well, so that took a lot of my attention. But I didn't feel so good about myself because I feel like I promised to make something and I wasn't delivering it. And there's a bit of imposter syndrome there too, which kind of sucked. Um, and sort of this sort of failure feeling brought me to the end of 2016 when I was graduating. I wasn't attending school a whole lot. I don't know why. I didn't feel so good about myself at this point in my life. I started to get bad habits. I wasn't concentrating as well as I could have, and I wasn't giving 3D art all my attention, I don't think, and I've, I think I let myself down in some ways. And when I graduated, I had no real direction on I guess how to get a job in the industry. It's pretty hard to break into. I don't think my portfolio was good enough. I feel like I kind of wasted so much time trying to remake this area in Zelda that I didn't give the attention to my portfolio. So after graduating, I really wanted to sort that out. I really wanted to try and wake up and sort of fix all my bad habits and focus more. I sort of stepped away from a lot of social media, like YouTube and stuff. I was spending way too much time and doing that sort of thing, and other things as well. So yeah, I graduated without any real way of finding a job in the industry. I was still working a casual job at the time. So throughout 2017, I was super focused on getting my portfolio together and building my skills up. So I was pretty much just working and going home and developing my skills. I just knew if I got good enough at 3D art and had a really good portfolio that people wouldn't be able to ignore me. So if I got good enough, I would be able to find work in the industry. I wasn't really working on any Zelda project stuff at this point. I decided just to drop it, just flat out drop it, and sort of learn other things at this point. I was pretty focused on character art at this point, learning anatomy and things of that nature. And I just knew doing the Zelda project was going to take a long time to finish, and I wanted to take the shortest path to getting a good portfolio. I think I did pretty well that year. I developed a pretty strong portfolio for the time I had in that year. I mean, I could have done better. Looking back, I did waste my time with some things, but that's hindsight. Also, in that year, I was working on a project with a few friends. We made a game, a VR game that we released on Steam. And these friends I met through studying game art. Um, and those friends went on to get jobs at a local game studio making mobile games. And then I saw that that game studio was doing a graduate program towards the end of 2017. I applied for that, and I guess like throughout the end of 2017 and early 2018, sort of was being interviewed. It was a long process. I was being interviewed, got tested, and then I got the job there. So that was a pretty good feeling because I think getting your breakthrough in the industry is a big deal. And once you get that, just more opportunities come to you, which is awesome. So throughout 2018, I was working my new job at that mobile game studio. And on the side, I was obviously working on personal projects. I wasn't super focused on the Zelda project at this point. I was still thinking about starting it up again. I can't remember at which point I started trying to work on it again. Would have maybe been in the middle of the year, perhaps. I was also trying to learn Blender in my free time as well, which is really challenging because it's like learning 3D from scratch again. Having to suck at a program it really doesn't feel so good. But I started to see a lot of hype around Blender at this point because they were releasing Blender 2.8, and that was looking really good. I started to try work on it again. But I was working on other things still as well, like character art, and just developing my sculpting skills, things of that nature. Um, but yeah, I was trying to start it again. I started on Castletown. It wasn't looking so good actually when I started to pick it up again. Eventually, towards the end of 2018, I decided to try to tackle the Temple of Time, and that's when things started to finally click and things started to feel pretty good. And sort of towards the end of 2017, things started to feel pretty good. I was working on Temple of Time, and then 2018, things started to really move faster. 2018 was mostly, sorry, 2019 I meant was mostly environment stuff. Um, and yeah, so that was going pretty good. I was still working on other projects too at the same time. I found it hard to sort of 100% focus on this project. I knew it was going to be a really large project, so I was kind of just nibbling away at it. Maybe it wasn't the best idea. I should have maybe just focused on it and just finished it, perhaps. But towards the end of 2019, the environment started to look pretty good, and I think yeah. So towards the end of 2019, I started to focus on characters instead. I wasn't actually going to do characters, but the town was feeling quite empty without any of the characters there. So yeah, 2020 was mostly just doing characters and a bit of environment stuff too, and just wrapping up things really. Um, and I guess there really isn't much else to the story because it was pretty much just about focusing on the project. Especially the last few months, I sort of stopped everything else I was working on and just focused on finishing this up because I really wanted to get it out of the way. The original scope was to do the castle as well, but I thought I'd leave it there, sort of see how this video goes and decide whether I want to do the castle from there. So yeah, that's kind of the story and why this took so long. It's mostly a combination of sort of me not being good enough to make the area the way I wanted to, and I guess this that struggle of the imposter syndrome, not feeling like I was good enough to make it, and having to start, stop again constantly. And yeah, I really needed to also just focus on developing my portfolio as well. It's just a combination of things and why this sort of slowed down the process so much. And I didn't really want to just chase. The thing is, I really just didn't want to just chase YouTube views. Really, I needed to focus on getting a job in the industry. So yeah, and I was going to do that by developing my skills and focusing on myself, I think. So now I guess what's next for this YouTube channel? So I did want to do the castle, like I was saying earlier, um, but I guess just based on the reception of this video, uh, I guess I'm not so sure I want to continue, I guess, working on the project at this point. People really liked it, and it seems they really liked it, and I've left positive comments, which has been nice. Um, there's a lot of other things I want to work on. I could have made maybe my own game with the same amount of effort I put in that project, perhaps. So yeah, I've got to look at what my options are and choose the best thing. I still want to release a build of the game. Well, it's not really a game, but a build of the project for people to play around with. So um, if someone's keen to continue on working on the project, like I can probably send you the project files if you want to keep running with it. I don't want to just want to release it publicly, like leave a link there for people to download it because there are a bunch of assets that I've bought, and I don't think it's actually right to just share all those assets publicly like that. I'm not sure how that all works, but yeah, if you do want to continue on with the project, reach out to me on Twitter or email, and I can send you the project if you want to. So yeah, I do want to keep releasing content on this channel, all 3D art related stuff. So yeah, if you do want to stick around for that sort of content, then stay subscribed. But yeah, I'm not going to continue on with the Zelda project for now, unfortunately. Sorry. There still might be Zelda related content though. I do like still making Zelda fan art, but it won't be the Ocarina of Time remake. It was good fun, but I'm not sure at what point I should end it. And there's always that fear that Nintendo could always decide to just do a cease and desist thing, and I do want to do work that's going to help my portfolio and give me more opportunities. And I think I've done enough on this project to do it justice. I think, and I'm happy where I'm leaving it. So I think that's all I want to say for this video. It's gone on for a while now, actually. So yeah, thank you for listening. I will post more content here. I still want to do the commentary video, sort of just explaining, I guess, the processes of, I guess, yeah, sort of how I put together that Zelda project. I'm not sure what that's going to be like, but I'm going to try something out and hopefully it works. And I might do another video just of me running around the area without any commentary at all, if people want to view it like that. And then I do, yeah, still want to release a build. So yeah, that's everything I have to say today. Thank you for watching. Bye.